Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove, and I am back with my coaching reality series called From a Coach's Perspective. Today, I want to talk about the 5 things that I think people should stop shaming others for doing in the gym. I've been seeing a lot of Instagram reels lately of people filming other people doing stuff in the gym, and they might not understand it. It might look silly to them. It might look somewhat narcissistic to them, but they themselves are shaming these people and they're posting these on reels and IG posts. And I was just like, I'm shocked. I know this has been going on for like a few years, but it seems to be becoming more and more popular now, probably for clickbait, I imagine. But people actually filming other people in the gym, maybe doing an exercise incorrectly, maybe filming their own workouts, maybe just doing an exercise that's completely like foreign to them and they have no idea what they're doing. And then they're recording them and they're ridiculing them and they're shaming them and making fun of them essentially, which I don't think is cool. And I have a problem with that because I feel like, everyone goes to the gym for their own reasons. Some people do it because they want to lose fat. Some people do it because they want to build muscle. Some people just want to become more healthy and fit. Some people want to boost their confidence. So you never know what someone's reasons is for going to the gym. Heck, some people go to the gym because they're rehabilitating an injury. So you never know someone's reason for going to work out and work on themselves. But because they are going to the gym and they are making a conscious effort to take care of their body, take care of their health, take care of their fitness and their physique, instead of shaming them, we should be applauding them. All right. So I want to list off the 5 things that think people need to stop doing and stop shaming others for doing in the gym. Starting with number 1, people who record their workouts. Now, I put up a post last week about this because I had seen another trainer talk about why she doesn't record her reels, that she's not full of herself, that she takes her workouts seriously, and she's not narcissistic. And all this stuff. Listen, if you don't want to record your workouts, that's fine. You don't have to record your workouts. However, for a lot of people, they're recording their workouts for numerous reasons. Myself, for example, I don't record every workout, but I will record at least one workout a week. And I'll do it in the privacy of my gym. Nobody's around, and I'll just record myself doing a workout. And the reason I do that is actually to help motivate others, inspire others, but also to show my own clientele base that I practice what I preach on a regular basis. So I do go to the gym. All the exercises I make them do, I'm doing. All right. So it's not about trying to get the perfect lighting, the perfect shot. I don't care about any of that. It takes 2 seconds to set up a tripod, 2 seconds to take a video, move on to your next exercise. But for a lot of people, they don't want to record their workouts, and that's okay. You don't have to record your workouts. But because you decide not to record your workout, you shouldn't make fun of others that do record their workouts. Other people who are not trainers, they could be recording their workouts because they want to check their form and their technique. I know a lot of people that do that. They're not doing it for clout. They're not even putting it on Instagram. They're just doing it for themselves. So as long as it's done in a respectful manner, as in you're not getting other people in your shots, I think recording your workouts is completely fine. If you're looking at my videos, I'm very conscious of that to make sure I don't get other members or other trainers in the shots. I'm making sure that the camera is focused purely on me. So that's another thing. If you are going to record your workouts out of respect for other gym members and other people who are around you, whether they're staff or trainers, you want to make sure that you respect their privacy and you don't get them in the back of your shots. Okay. And one more thing for people who do record your workouts, just remember this is not your own personal photo shoot. So if people do walk past the camera, get in the way of your photo or your video that you're taking, you can't get mad. The gym is a public place. Okay, unless you're training in a private training facility, it's a public place. So you're going to have people that sometimes might interrupt the video. They might walk through a video, whatever it may be. There might be a loud noise, dumbbell dropping on the ground, whatever it is. Okay, so you're in a public place. If you want to have your own private photo shoot studio, go to a private facility, rent out the space for that. Okay. But for those of you who do not record your workouts but like to shame others, stop. Just makes you look petty. All right. The second thing that people need to stop shaming others for doing in the gym, using machines instead of free weights. Now, machines are not necessarily inferior to free weights. Do I prefer free weights over machines? Absolutely. Do I feel that free weights are more effective than machines? I surely do. Okay. However, I'm not going to shame someone who wants to do a machine workout because, again, I don't know their reasons for doing machines. For all I know, they could be rehabilitating an injury. They may have a physical limitation that stops them from doing, let's say, a dumbbell shoulder press, but they can do a hammer machine shoulder press. So you never know why someone's choosing to do the machines over the free weights. Hell, maybe they just want an easier workout. Who the hell are you to judge them? Who cares if they want an easier workout? That's their workout. They can do whatever they want. So for people to sit there and record people on their phones and look at these machines or make fun of people who only use machines, say, oh, they're not real lifters, that's bullshit. They're still going to the gym. They're still exercising. They're still moving. They're still getting a sweat. They're still burning calories. They're doing something good for their body. So regardless if it's on free weights or machine, you should not be shaming someone because maybe they're not trained as hard as you, or maybe they're not trained as intensely as you, or maybe they're not using the same pieces of equipment as you. Okay. I've always stayed in my own lane when I work out. Someone wants to do a full machine workout, that's completely fine. If someone hires me as a trainer, I will explain to them that ideally I'd like you to front load the free weights, use more cables, and we'll use machines here and there. But it's not because I say machines suck. I don't say that. And if I work with a client who says, I really feel the muscle when I'm doing, let's say, I don't know, I feel my quads more when I do a hack squat, or I feel more safer when I do a Smith machine squat versus a barbell back squat. I'm not going to tell them to stop doing it. If they ask me which exercise do I feel is more effective and more efficient, yeah, I will say the barbell back squat. But that's just my own personal opinion. Okay. It doesn't mean that I'm right. But at the same time, I'm not going to shame a client who wants to do a Smith machine squat versus a barbell back squat. That is his or her choice. Okay. And for that reason, I'm not going to shame or ridicule them because they want to do a machine only workout. Okay. Period. All right. Third thing people need to do to stop shaming others in the gym: lifting light weights. Now, there are a lot of people that go to the gym, like I mentioned when I first started this video, who are rehabilitating an injury. They're working through a physical limitation, or they're just brand new to the gym and they don't feel comfortable doing certain exercises. If they choose to do lighter weights that you feel are just ridiculously light, again, you are not their trainer. You are not their coach. You are probably not even their friend, especially if you're shaming them. So what do you care what weight they're picking? What does it matter to you? To me, that's completely irrelevant what weight someone is doing in the gym. Okay. And I've always said to people, I'm like, hey, if you can get better results lifting 5-pound dumbbells versus lifting 100-pound dumbbells, do it. I mean, I've always thought, man, I'd rather look like I could lift 1,000 pounds than actually lift 1,000 pounds. So for that reason, I don't go out of my way to look at someone's weights and go, oh, they're only doing 15-pound dumbbells. I do that with 65-pound dumbbells. Good for you. Okay. There are a lot of people in the gym, a lot of guys in the gym who are much stronger than me, probably some girls too. I could care less because I've always gone in with that mindset that I'm trying to sculpt my physique. I'm not trying to be a power lifter. And even if I was trying to be a power lifter, why would I care what someone else is lifting? Unless I'm competing with them in a competition. Yeah, I want to beat them. But if it's just someone in the gym lifting weights and they're doing deadlifts or doing squats or bench press, what the hell do you care what they're lifting? So, okay, so again, to shame people or make fun of people for maybe not pushing as hard or not lifting their max weights that they probably could, that again, to me, it's just insecurity on you if you're someone who does that, because again, you don't know that person's reason. And even if their reason is because they don't want to push that hard, so be it. That's their reason. They don't want to push hard. That's it. They're still going to the gym. So rather than judge them for lifting light, applaud them that they're in the gym anyway and they're doing something. It's better to sitting at home on their couch, watching TV, eating potato chips, which again, I wouldn't judge someone for either. If they want to do that, it's their life. They can do whatever they choose. Okay. But you need to stop shaming. For those of you that do shame people for lifting too light, or the one here thing I hear from a lot of guys in the gym is little girl weights. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of little girls that lift heavier than the guys. All right. So that mindset of light weights, not effective. Light weights can be very effective if done in a controlled manner. Okay. So I always tell my clients, I don't care how much you lift, as long as you're stimulating the muscle growth and as long as it's challenging for you, that's what I want for progress. All right. But if it's not challenging for you, it's going to be very hard to grow and to progress. So that's what I tell my clients. But if you're not my client and you choose to stay with lighter weights, and maybe you don't really care about progressing too much, you just want to go to the gym and get a pump and exercise a little bit and feel better, by all means, continue with the light weights. All right. Number 4. The number 4 thing that people need to stop shaming other people for doing in the gym: taking long rest periods. Now, I know I've probably been guilty of this myself in the past, not necessarily shaming people, but more getting annoyed with people who take prolonged periods of time in between sets. Now, I don't get upset or annoyed with people who actually need to rest. Like if there's someone who is squatting really hard, or even if they're not squatting hard, but they feel like they need to rest, maybe, they need to get themselves, their cardiovascular endurance is not that good yet, their muscular endurance is not that strong yet, and they need a longer rest period. I have no problem with that. Okay. Especially if someone is very new to the gym and their fitness level is not very good. That's totally fine. Where I get annoyed is the people who sit on a piece of equipment or hang out in a squat rack and they're on their phone. and they're looking at TikTok reels, and they're looking at Instagram posts, and they're looking at Facebook updates. Those are the people that piss me off because I'm like, you're not resting. Okay. So that to me is where I get a little bit annoyed, but I'm not really shaming those people. I just get annoyed with those people. But for other people who do take longer rest periods, again, you don't know their health history. They could be advised by their doctor to keep their resting heart rate under 70 beats per minute when they're training. That could be a possibility. Now, if that's a possibility and their heartbeat's at 90, they've got to wait. If they got a heart rate monitor, they got to wait till their resting heart rate gets down under 70 again. Okay. So you have to really make sure that when you're in the gym with other people, if someone is taking a longer period of time resting, don't just assume that they're lazy. They could have health issues that you're unaware of. And I can tell you this from working with, especially if elderly people, there are a lot of people that come to work with me where their doctor has said, we can't get your heart rate higher than 100 beats right now per minute. Okay. So I have a few clients like that who have to stay within that 90 to 100 beats per minute zone. And so I'm very careful, and we monitor that with usually with an Apple Watch, something that's monitoring their heart rate. So we make sure that we don't overdo it. And sometimes, yeah, they do have to rest 2 or 3 minutes after a set, which may look easy to someone who's super fit. But again, you don't know what someone's health history is. You don't know what their fitness level is. Okay. So again, don't just assume that they're being lazy. And again, even if they are lazy, who cares? That's them. Okay. Move on to another exercise. Unless you yourself need the piece of equipment. In that case, I would ask them how many more sets they have. Okay. Or work in with them. Because if they're taking long rest periods in between, you could probably get 2 or 3 sets in while they're resting. Okay, so no problem. I've never had a problem with people resting in between sets. My issue has always been with the phones. Okay, but for someone who needs to rest, by all means, I think they should take it. Okay, because you don't want to have something happen on the floor. For God, you have a heart attack, for example, an aneurysm, whatever it is, because you're pushing yourself too much, too fast. Okay, so if you've been recommended or for your doctor, your physician to keep your resting heart rate under a certain amount, you better be monitoring that stopwatch and don't just go until that heart rate's down. With my clients, when we do circuit training, I always tell them to come back in for like round 2 or round 3 when they feel about 70%. Okay, but I push my clients pretty hard. But my clients also know that if they can't come back yet, they don't come back yet. Okay, so again, that's what I do with the majority of my clients, but I do have a few clients on my roster who are elderly who do have to wear heart rate monitors and do have to make sure that their heart rates don't exceed a certain limit. So again, don't just judge these people because they're taking prolonged periods of times of rest in between each set. All right. And the final thing that people should stop shaming other people for doing: being new to the gym. Big one. Big one. There are times in my gym. So I work in a private training facility. We share the building with tenants who work in the office above. Okay, so we're downstairs. There's an office above. We get a few tenants that come in to the gym every once in a while, and it's very obvious that they don't know what they're doing. Okay, now I always think anyone who doesn't know what they're doing in the gym should hire a trainer or coach to teach them at least a few exercises so they feel somewhat confident in what they're doing so they don't injure themselves. But some people decide not to. Some people, for whatever reason it may be, maybe they can't afford to work with a trainer or coach, or maybe they feel like they've watched enough YouTube videos and they can do it on their own, or they'll just pick it up as they go. Fine. I don't question it. That's their reasons. So much so that if I'm training a client and my client sees someone in the gym doing something incorrectly who's not a client of mine, they'll ask me, why don't you correct them? I'm like, and I'll always say, I'm sorry. I'm like, are you not paying me for your time right now? Because they're not. They're not my clients. So I don't correct their form. I don't correct their technique. That person has made the choice, the conscious decision to go to the gym on their own and try to learn how to do these movements by themselves. I have no problem with that. Okay. So the thing you have to remember though, too, is when you see people who are new to the gym, it can be very intimidating for those people. They see a bunch of people who are usually quite fit. People who work out every day are usually quite fit. So that there could be quite intimidating. If you're working around people who are quite muscular or women who have like very low body fat levels, it can be intimidating for someone who's not that fit or, is a little bit self-conscious about their physique. So bear that in mind when you see someone who is obviously new to the gym, that they're already coming in and they're feeling fairly self-conscious. So for you to shame them or ridicule them or stare at them or try to intimidate them in some way by like rolling your eyes if they're doing a lightweight or if they do an exercise incorrectly, that to me is bullying. And I've never liked that because I think everyone, all of us, including myself, we've all had to start somewhere. I remember the first time I went to the gym, I went to do a flat dumbbell bench press. I fell right off the bench. I was embarrassed, got back up, did it again. I just wasn't aware of my spatial awareness. I remember the first time I did a barbell back squat, I actually fell down with the bar. Okay. So even myself, a trainer, I've made those mistakes. So I know what it feels like to go to a gym and you're brand new and you don't know what the hell you're doing. I was very lucky because I had older bodybuilders who took me under their wing and taught me how to train correctly. If I didn't have those guys, if I didn't have the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia that I used to read back to a front and back cover, go back and apply it in the gym with those exercises. So if I didn't have the theory and the practical and I didn't have those bodybuilders teaching me exercises, I would have made a lot more mistakes. Okay. But I did make a lot of mistakes and I learned from them. But I remember the first few months I would go in there, I was super intimidated because everyone was bigger than me. Everyone was more fit than me. Everyone was more muscular than me. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just very unaware of my surroundings. And it just felt very, very self-conscious. So I can relate to people who are new to the gym and I have empathy for those people. And that's why when I see someone who comes down to my gym and they're obviously new, I will help them in some way, whether if I see, for example, if they're setting up a piece of equipment incorrectly, I will help them because I know they don't know what they're doing. I won't correct form. I won't correct technique because I'm not their trainer. But if I see something that they're going to do something that's fairly dangerous, like let's say they're putting on too much weight on a bar, like for they're going to do a bench press, I'm like, oh, you might just want to try the bar first. And oh, okay, they listen. They're like, okay, yeah, no problem. Okay. But I never offer unsolicited advice to people. But if I think they're going to do something dangerous that's going to hurt themselves, then I will step in and you might want to do this. Okay. So, if anything, if you're someone who lifts all the time and you're an avid lifter and you're quite fit yourself, look out for those people and help them if they need it. So make them feel welcomed in a gym. All right. There's no reason that they should feel like, oh, you're useless. You can't come here. You know, this is not for you. Okay. You want to really try your best, I think, as a human being to help others become more healthy and fit, regardless if you're a trainer or a coach. Okay. You should just help motivate others because they're doing something good for their body. And by you ridiculing them or shaming them or giving them dirty looks in the gym, which I do see people doing from time to time, you're just kind of intimidating them not to come back. And that's not cool. Okay, so you could really be stopping someone from wanting to make a difference in not just their physical stature, but their mental stature. Because there's a lot of people, a lot of my clients, they come to the gym for the mental benefits, right? So you got to remember there's more to just building a physique. And a lot of people, you don't know their reasons for going to the gym. You don't know why they're training a certain way. And because of that, it's not your place to shame people. All right. So for anyone watching this who is one of those people, you got to stop. Because honestly, when I see these videos and I see these reels, and I know I'm always late to the game on this, I'm sure people have been making these reels and videos for years, but I'm seeing more and more of them come up in my newsfeed. Maybe it's the algorithm because now I'm watching them, but it really pisses me off because I'm like, and people are liking these posts and people are laughing at these people. I'm like, this is crazy. This is just online bullying again. And I don't like that. I really don't because I feel like if anything, the bullies are always the most insecure people. So if you're that insecure to make fun of somebody else online, go F yourself. All right. Because that bullshit, it shouldn't be allowed. All right. And I know people do it. And I know people think it's funny, but it's not. It's cruel. And who knows? Maybe the person that you're filming, secretly recording in the gym, what if they see your video? How embarrassing is that for that person? They don't want to go back to the gym now. So really think about these things before you just record it and you put it up there for social media to see because you want to get views and you want to get likes. No. Okay. To me, that's unacceptable. Anyway, that's it for this week's Coaching Reality episode. This episode will be going up on Wednesday, July the 8th. As a reminder, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you are currently taking, not taking, or considering taking, please feel free to email me at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe if you have not already liked and subscribed. I really do appreciate all the support and all the feedback that I receive from each and every single one of you. Thank you all again, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.